Okay, so picture this. You're standing on the curb,
Mm.
or maybe you've just walked down the gangway of this massive cruise ship, one that feels like a floating city. The air is thick.
Oh, yeah.
It hits you right away, that smell, that mix of jet fuel and sweet plumeria and humidity.
Hmm.
And you look at your watch.
It's that universal start the clock moment, the panic. It sets in just a little bit.
Exactly. You have this really limited window. Maybe it's a 12-hour layover. Maybe your ship docks at sunrise and leaves at sunset. The mission is simple, but so stressful. You have one day in Honolulu,
And you want to see the real Oahu.
the real Oahu, not just the ABC stores and the tourist traps, and you have to do it without missing your departure.
It sounds like a reality show challenge, doesn't it? The Amazing Race, Honolulu edition.
It really does. And that is exactly what we are unpacking in this deep dive. We've gone through a stack of itineraries from private tour companies like Halia Tours. We've looked at local guides on historical landmarks, all the logistics.
And that context is so key. People think Hawaii and they just see a hammock and a Mai Tai.
Right.
But Oahu is a full-on metropolis in the middle of the Pacific. It's a transit hub. So the question isn't just, can you see the sights? It's, can you see them without having a complete nervous breakdown in traffic?
So today we're mapping out how to balance the history with, the adrenaline of the landscape and, of course, the food. But before we start the engine, give us the lay of the land. What are we actually talking about here?
We're talking about a place with a very specific traditional name. It honors a high chief who united the island. He moved his seat of power to Waikiki long before any hotels were there.
So even the sand has a resume.
Everything there does.
Yeah.
And the goal of this deep dive is to see if we can peel back all those layers, from ancient royalty to Pearl Harbor to, Hollywood film sets, all in one coherent day.
All right, let's talk strategy. If I'm that traveler with the ticking clock, what's my biggest enemy? What is going to kill my one-day itinerary?
Logistics. Specifically, a stretch of pavement called the H1 freeway.
I have heard horror stories. I mean, is it really that bad? I'm from the mainland. I know traffic.
It can be soul-crushing. You have to understand the geography.
Right.
Honolulu is literally squeezed between the mountains and the ocean.
So there aren't many other options.
There are very few alternate routes. It's not a grid system where you can just cut over a block if there's an accident, or just heavy volume, which is like every day you are stuck.
So the whole Google Maps says 20 minutes rule just doesn't apply.
Absolutely not. The source material is adamant about this.
Yeah.
Whatever your GPS says, add a 30-minute buffer, minimum.
Wow.
Especially if you're trying to catch a flight or a ship. If you cut it close on Oahu, you miss your connection. There is no speeding up to make up time.
That anxiety brings us to the first big decision. Do I rent a Mustang convertible, put the top down, and try to figure it out myself? Or do I hire a guide?
Well, that's the classic trade-off, isn't it? Autonomy versus efficiency. A self-guided trip is cheaper, obviously, and you have total freedom.
You see a cool little fruit stand, you can just pull over.
Exactly. And I noticed in the notes that some beaches, commercial tours aren't even allowed to stop.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there are strict zoning laws to protect residents. Big tour buses, even permitted private tour vans, often can't stop at certain residential beaches like Lanikai or parts of the North Shore.
But in a rental car, you can.
If you can find parking, you can walk right on.
But there's always a but.
The but is you are the navigator. You're the one fighting for parking. And this is a detail that really stood out to me. The parking infrastructure at major sites like Diamond Head is, let's just call it temperamental.
I don't want to spend 20 minutes of my 8-hour window arguing with a kiosk.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the argument for the private tour comes in. It's not just about a driver. It's about what the industry calls dynamic flexibility.
That sounds fancy. What does that actually mean?
It means pivoting. So let's say you're heading to the windward side, the lush green side, and a sudden squall hits.
Sideways rain.
Pouring.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on a big bus tour with a set itinerary, you're just sitting there looking at wet windows.
Mm.
A private guide will say, okay, no shore's washed out, we're going where it's sunny.
Or if you have kids, that's a whole different game.
Right. The crying baby factor.
Yeah.
If a toddler has a meltdown or gets carsick, a private guide can stop at a park, grab some shave ice, and just reset the whole mood.
You can't do that on a schedule.
You're locked in. And there's also the insurance aspect the sources mentioned. And they did not mean rental car insurance.
No, they meant departure insurance.
This is crucial for cruise passengers. If you get a flat tire in your rental car on the North Shore or lock your keys in the trunk, that is entirely on you.
Yeah.
and that ship will leave without you.
Okay, that's a pretty compelling argument for handing over the keys. So let's assume we've sorted the logistics. We're mobile. Where do we go first? The sources suggest history.
Yes.
And this is where my perception of Hawaii got a little checked.
King Kalakaua was a huge tech enthusiast. He met Thomas Edison. He was obsessed with modernizing.
And the result of that was?
The palace had indoor plumbing and electric lights before the White House did.
That is just wild to think about.
It really disrupts that old idea of Hawaii being this primitive outpost that needed saving by the West. This was a sophisticated, modern, international court.
And the tour itself is pretty powerful.
It is. It's docent-led, so you get these stories of the balls, the politics, and then eventually the imprisonment of Queen Luluokalani. It's heavy, but necessary.
If you want to understand the soul of the place, you have to go.
It's non-negotiable.
Okay, speaking of heavy history, we have to talk about Pearl Harbor. Probably the most famous site on the island. But looking at the notes, this seems like a logistical nightmare if you don't plan.
It is. The USS Arizona Memorial is the main draw. It's free, which is great, but it sits out in the harbor, so it requires a shuttle boat.
And the tickets for that.
They're released online, and they just vanish in seconds. It's like trying to get Taylor Swift tickets.
So if I just show up at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday without a ticket?
You are likely out of luck. The local trick is to go at the crack of dawn, like 6 a.m., to try for standby tickets, but on a one-day trip, that's a huge gamble.
You don't want to spend 3 hours waiting for a ticket you might not even get.
Exactly. So what's the pivot?
What is the pivot?
You go to the Battleship Missouri.
The Mighty Mo.
Yeah. The experience is totally different. The Arizona is a somber memorial. It's a grave. It's very quiet. The Missouri is a victory lap. It's the ship where the Japanese surrender was signed.
And the sources describe it as being much more tactile.
Yes. Part history lesson, part video game for kids.
Yeah.
You can climb ladders, sit in the captain's chair, go deep inside the hull. It's physically engaging in a way the Arizona isn't.
So you still get that whole immersion.
You do. And the Pacific Fleet Submarine Museum is right there, too, so you're not missing out.
Okay, monarchy, military. Now we need to fast forward to the other huge cultural export of Oahu, surfing.
Which is also history. People forget that. It was the sport of Hawaiian kings.
True. So we're heading to the Waikiki Historic Trail. I didn't even realize this was a formal trail.
It is. You look for these bronze surfboard markers that run from Ala Moana all the way to Kapiolani Park.
And Kapiolani Park is Honolulu's oldest park.
The oldest. And it was a gift from the king to the people, not built by a city council.
And there's one specific marker we're looking for, right? The legend.
He is the archetype, not just a guy on a board. He was an Olympic swimmer, the sheriff of Honolulu, the global ambassador of Aloha.
A real-life superhero.
Essentially. I mean, there are stories of him rescuing fishermen with his surfboard in monstrous waves, standing at his statue with all the lays on his arms. It connects you to that whole lineage. It grounds the beach vacation idea in something much deeper.
Speaking of visuals, we have to mention the mural. Greetings from Waikiki.
The most Instagrammed wall in the Pacific, probably.
But the sources break down why it works. It's not just the font. The imagery inside the letters, the coffee, the surf, the Pink Palace Hotel, it's like a visual summary.
Pop culture meets history. It's the perfect backdrop to prove you were there.
All right, we've done the city, we've learned some things, but I need nature. I need to sweat. If I only have time for one hike, the default answer is Diamond Head, right?
It is. It's iconic. You could see that crater profile from everywhere in town.
But isn't it just a conga line of tourists marching upstairs?
It can be. If you go to 11 a.m., it's a conga line. That's why the expert insight here is, again, timing. Go when the gates open at 6 a.m.
Beat the heat, beat the buses.
Exactly. It takes under 2 hours, and the view from the top is panoramic Waikiki all the way to the Waianae coast.
But here's the most important part of the Diamond Head strategy, according to the locals. It's not the view.
It's the reward.
The reward. The strategy is hike the crater, burn the calories, and then immediately drive to Leonard's Bakery.
For warm malasadas.
For those who haven't had the pleasure, what are we talking about here? It's like a donut.
A Portuguese donut. No hole, fried till it's golden, rolled in sugar, and then you can get them filled with custard or coconut.
And the temperature is key.
Crucially, they have to be hot, fresh out of the fryer. They're life-changing. It's the circle of life on Oahu. Exercise, then sugar.
Okay, but Diamond Head is dry. It's a volcanic crater.
Sure.
If I want the opposite, if I want the Lost or Jurassic Park vibe, where do I go?
You go Mauka,
Yeah.
into the mountains, specifically Manoa Valley.
And the sources say this is literally where they filmed parts of Jurassic Park.
Yes, and a
Yeah.
true rainforest hike. Huge banyan trees, bamboo forests, waterfalls. It feels prehistoric.
But there's a trade-off. A rainforest means rain.
And mud. Very muddy.
Yeah.
And where there is standing water and dense green vegetation.
Mosquitoes.
A buffet for them. The locals know this. If you choose Manoa, you're trading the sweeping ocean views for a humid, lush, buggy immersion. You need bug spray.
And shoes you don't mind ruining. Don't wear the white sneakers to Manoa.
Never. They will never be white again.
Okay, let's hit the water. We have to get wet. But the guides are really specific here. Not all beaches are for all people.
Not at all. This is a safety thing. If you want to learn to surf, you go to Waikiki, specifically Kuhio Beach. The waves are long and mellow in the summer.
It's basically designed for beginners.
Exactly. But if you want to snorkel,
Where do we go?
Hanoma Bay. It's a submerged volcanic crater, like swimming in an aquarium. But there's a catch.
A big one.
You need a reservation, and they sell out instantly. And this is the one that gets people. It is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Completely closed.
Gated and locked for reef recovery.
Oh, man. Imagine driving all the way out there on a Tuesday in your swimwear and seeing a chain across the road.
It happens every single week. So if that happens, the alternative is Waimea Bay.
But Waimea is famous for giant waves. I've seen the videos.
In the winter, yes, 30-foot death waves. But in the summer, it's a lake. Crystal clear, great snorkeling. It's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
And on the way, we can't forget the Halona blowhole. The sources mention a funny detail about a cat.
Yes, there's often this feral cat just sitting on the lava rock wall staring at the tourists. It's a weirdly specific detail, but it's a reminder that these scenic lookouts are just part of the local environment.
Okay, I'm starting again. We had malasadas, but we need real food. The host says to turn the drive itself into a food tour.
Which is the best way to travel, in my opinion.
And there's a specific heated rivalry mentioned, the Battle of the Shrimp Trucks on the North Shore.
Giovanni's versus Romi's.
Break it down for me. Who do I choose?
So Giovanni's is the famous one, the white truck covered in graffiti. It draws huge crowds. Heavy garlic, heavy butter, 2 scoops rice. It's iconic.
But the local guides say something different.
Right. A lot of locals and the deeper guides will point you to Romi's.
Why Romi's?
It's a freshness factor.
So Giovanni's for the scene, Romi's for the freshness?
Exactly. And honestly, if you see a huge line at one, just go to the other. Don't waste an hour in the sun.
What about other stops? I saw a picture of a fruit stand that was just neon with color.
Yeah, fresh mangoes, sugarcane juice.
Yeah.
But I also want to highlight a place that often gets skipped by the one-day crowd.
Which is...
Chinatown in Honolulu.
Really?
It's described as a hidden gem. It's gritty, it's authentic. Morning lei stands where the aunties are stringing fresh flowers. Dim sum, late-night noodle joints. It's a totally different world from Waikiki.
And of course, you can't skip shave ice. Now, we're coming to a part of this that I found surprisingly moving. We've talked about taking from the island photos, waves, food, but the sources bring up a concept called malama.
Right, malama. It means to care for, to tend to protect.
And tour operators are actually turning this into a thing. Positive impact tours.
This is fascinating. It's a shift away from just extraction tourism.
But be honest, is this just voluntourism, where you pose for a selfie with a shovel and then leave?
The sources suggest it's more structured. You might spend part of your day planting native Hawaiian trees at a place like Gunstock Ranch, or helping remove invasive mangroves from an ancient fish pond.
That sounds like hard work. We have an image of a fish pond and it looks like you're getting muddy.
It is hard work. You're getting your hands in the mud, you're contributing to the ecosystem.
But here's the kicker, and I know this sounds cynical to focus on the wallet, but it's a powerful incentive. It actually saves you money.
It does. The sources highlight this explicitly. If you book one of these malama experiences, the tour operators often give you a huge discount on the tour itself.
Like how much?
We're talking $100 to $300 in savings.
Wait, so let me get this straight. I get to plant a tree that will grow there for 50 years, I help the environment, and D, I pay less for my vacation.
That's the value proposition. It basically makes the service activity a freebie that offsets your vacation carbon footprint. You leave the island better than you found it, and your budget looks better too.
That seems like a total no-brainer. If I have the choice between sitting in an AC van or actually digging in the soil and leaving a legacy while saving cash, I'm planting the tree.
And it connects you to the place. You're not just a spectator anymore. You have skin in the game.
So let's recap. Started with H1 traffic anxiety, saw the palace that beat the White House to the light bulb, Stood on the deck where WWII ended, hiked a crater, ate a hot malasada, dodged mosquitoes, argued about shrimp, and maybe planted a tree.
It's a perfect mix of Mauka and Makai uplands and sea.
What if you realize one day just isn't enough?
Well, the tour operators are way ahead of you. The sources mention deals like buy 2 tours, get the third 50% off. They know once you start scratching the surface, you're going to want to stay longer.
They know you're going to get hooked.
They absolutely do. Oahu has a way of grabbing you.
So whether you're on a private tour with a guide who can handle everything, or you're gripping the steering wheel of a rental car praying for a parking spot, the key seems to be respect.
Respect for the land, for the history, and for the time you have there. Don't rush so much that you forget to breathe.
I want to leave everyone with a thought today. We started with the ticking clock. If you only had 6 hours left on the island, just 6 hours before your flight, would you choose to plant that tree to leave a legacy, or would you hike the crater to see the view for yourself?
That is the ultimate question, the experience for yourself or the contribution for the future.
The choice defines the trip. Thanks for diving in with us.